Now, the Indian Defence Ministry has reacted to the debate around the disengagement underway at Pangong Tso. The government has said that India has not conceded any territory as a result of this agreement. It said that, on the contrary, it has enforced observance and respect for LAC and prevented any unilateral change in the status quo. And the government went on to say that the misinformed and misleading comments are being amplified in the media and on social media regarding the disengagement. Now, taking a swipe at Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, who had alleged that Prime Minister had given away Indian territory to China, the government said those doubting the achievements of the military are disrespecting them. Recently, India and China agreed to disengage in the Pangong Tso area in eastern Ladakh and to go back to the status quo after nearly 9 months of a standoff. And for more on this, we are being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, thank you for joining us. What can you tell us about this statement?
Well, it is a significant statement, that talks about any kind of misinformation that might be going after the statement made by the Indian Defence Minister in the Parliament. The two key points that stand out, one of course is that this disengagement plan is primarily for the Pangong Lake. So what happens to other areas like Depsang, Gogra and Hot Springs? It clearly mentions that these outstanding issues will be discussed within 48 hours of the disengagement being completed in Pangong Lake. Secondly, the other key point is that India haven't ceded any of its territory. There are, of course, question marks being raised that since India will be not patrolling from Finger 4 to Finger 8 of the north bank of the Pangong Lake, has that area become a no man's land? That has been clarified, saying that India is not conceding its right of patrolling. And this is an understanding that has been achieved with the Chinese, because as of now, according to the disengagement plan in the north bank of the Pangong Lake, both sides will not be patrolling in that area. The Chinese will be going east of Finger 8 and the Indians will be coming to Finger 3. There is a permanent post we have there. So by and large, a pretty long statement, a statement that sets the record straight, particularly in light of the comments being made by the opposition leaders here in India earlier today. So largely, we do expect the disengagement plan to go forward. We know even as we speak, the disengagement plan is underway. The tanks have moved. The first visuals have come. The next focus will be on moving the men, both the Chinese and the Indian, from the forward post, and also dismantling if any permanent structure has been created by both the Indian and the Chinese forces. And this dates back to the April 2020 deadline. That is the time when the Chinese were aggressive and they tried to unilaterally change the situation on the ground.
Yes, Siddhant, thank you for mentioning that, because I was going to come to that next. In their statement, they have said that it is, on the contrary, it has enforced observance and respect for LAC and prevented any unilateral change in the status quo. So how do you explain that?
Well, there is a mention on that, a mention that clearly sends a message to Beijing that what China was trying to attempt or do was to change the unilaterally change the situation on the ground at the line of actual control. This has been prevented by the action of the Indian forces. Of course, we know that Galwan incident is one thing that sent out the message to Beijing. Even though India has lost 20 of its soldiers, we know the reports coming. In fact, the Russian media yesterday reported that China lost 45 of its soldiers. Chinese, of course, haven't confirmed, and it is unlikely that China is going to confirm that. But one thing is for sure, even as 2020 saw a very, very aggressive China, not only with India, with other of its neighbors, India was able to draw the red line, a red line that if China crosses that, it is going to face a very, very strong India, not only in terms of military, but in terms of diplomacy, in terms of economics, because we know that after the Galwan incident, India took number of actions, whether it is banning over 200 Chinese apps or whether it is the investment coming from China, and losing a very big market like India for China is, of course, is something that it will pinch the Chinese investors and ultimately the Chinese government as well.
All right, Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.